I have the privilege in today's session to introduce the wonderful personality, always smiling and most intelligent and just a call away or the email away from us, Miss Nilufar Yasmin, uh, professor from AKTU University, and at present she is working in the AK Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Past work experience as assistant professor, Department of E&C Engineering, Lovely Professional University, Punjab, India, from July 2012 to the July 2015. She has a vast experience pursuing the PhD in cryptography and the network security from JIIT Noida, MTech in ECE from LPU, BTech in ECE from LPU, and with a higher grade of 7.24 GPA. It's very good. And 12th non-medical stream CBSC with 73.4 in 2004, 10th CBSC with 71.2. From beginning, that means she is wonderful and marvelous in the academics. And regarding the industrial training, 6 weeks unpaid industrial training at Bell, and worked at almost all stages of testing manual and using machines, worked on Agilent machines in circuits of testing PCB, stars, VPS, and other than this, 6 weeks basic networking course from TCIL, 6 weeks industrial training at Reliance Communication, Chandigarh, technical skills, so many MATLAB, basic networking, IPv4, subnetting, LAN, WAN, mainframe relay, RIP, IGRP, OSPF, so many paper and presentations are there. Published a paper on S-box modification in DES, the International Conference on Advance in Computer Communication Technology organized by the IET, and awards and achievements. Received Best Paper Award for publishing, presenting a paper, S-box modification. Definitely it is a burning topic and at that time, and definitely it requires a lot of skills and the knowledge, and the roles and responsibilities at present: teaching and the research and development in the field of electronics and communication, BTech, MTech with specialized communication subjects like analog and DC, microwave engineering, wireless communication, satellite communication, and many more. And so many projects she has guided, mentoring capstone projects of BTech, ECE, final year student, and MTech thesis guidance, admission coordinator also. Hobbies and interests: traveling, visiting new places, regarding lightning music and the singing. And strengths are the leader, wonderful leader skills, positive attitude. Definitely it is a need of an hour. Then sometimes we got the frustrated or the panic in the office working, but stay positive. It is also a one magical art. And nowadays what I feel, and good community, there is no doubt inside that. Fast learner, dedication towards the work, so many. I think we can represent it with the infinity that we have discussed in the metaverse. Metaverse is represented by the infinity. So caliber of Miss Nilufar Yasmin ma'am, we can denote it with the infinity. These are some personal details. And by this, I would like to hand over the session with Nilufar Yasmin with a great gratitude and the love from my bottom of my heart from ALTTC. So thank you, ma'am. Please continue.
Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Very good morning, everyone. And I am totally, I feel like I'm indebted because of such enormous introduction of me, sir. Thanks a lot. You almost read my complete CV.
You deserve everything, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. So nice of you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. I hope I'll be able to make justice to this lecture.
Yeah.
And I have been associated with ALTTC for quite a bit of time. Yeah. So I am glad and very happy to see you everyone here again, once again, to this wonderful platform. I welcome all the participants, and I am thankful to the organizers to make me a part of this wonderful event. So I hope the basics of this course has been delivered so far in the past couple of days, 3 days. So what I'll be talking about today is cryptography and steganography. So let me share my screen, and I hope I am audible and clear enough for all the participants.
Yeah, fine, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am. Excellent.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So let me share my screen. So I'll make it a full screen PPT. Right, so let's start from here. So we are going to talk about cyber forensics today. Although we have been talking about it, I know there are so many learned persons here who have already made the basics very clear with all the participants. So I could see here are, how many participants, sir? I guess 12, 10, 12?
12 participants total. Okay, so sub participant, I think till time not join and inform to him. Please continue, but.
Okay. So at any point, this is for the participants, please allow me to explain. And if there is some issue with my speed or the way I am speaking, you can actually write it in the chat box or raise a hand. I'll mold myself accordingly. I hope that will be helpful for everyone. So I could see here Arif from Malaysia. Hello, Jamie. Lavanya from Singapore. Mohammad Amirul. And Sok Sovan and Thirapol from Thailand. And Yumon. Right, so I could see, I could read few names. I hope I read the names carefully and correctly. So welcome everyone. So let's without wasting any time, let's begin with our session today. So cyber forensics, we'll be talking about steganography, cryptography, and image file forensics, right? So as already said, my name is Nilofer Yasmin. So I am currently associated with an engineering college and also pursuing my research in this very same field, cryptography. So this is the outline of my presentation. We'll be talking about what is cryptography, what is steganography, and how it is different from watermarking, the comparison between these three, right? Then the basics of cryptography, what is cryptography and what are the various terms associated with it. Then what is steganography? Its basic terminologies we'll be talking about. Few examples we'll discuss. Then we talk about certain types of steganography methods, advantages, disadvantages. Also, we'll be talking about image forensics, and finally, conclusion. Right? Just a moment. So what is cryptography? Cryptography is about protecting the content of message. Steganography is about concealing the existence of message. There's a difference between these two. And watermarking is about establishing identity of information to prevent unauthorized use. So let me just elaborate all three things. So in this beautiful world, we all people are living our own ways, but we need to be connected to our relatives, to our friends. And in order to make this happen, we need to communicate, right? And mode of communication could be either audio, like I'm talking to you with my video on. It could be in the form of text. It could be in the form of a picture. So the communication could be audio, video, text, any kind of, or any image, right? These are the basic forms of messages that we prefer to transmit. And whenever we transmit one message from one point to another point, the main intent of the message transfer is that intended recipient must receive that message, right? So a transmitter wants to send a message to a receiver. The receiver must receive it. And while receiving, what are the mandatory things that should be taken care of? My message must reach the receiver. For that, various communication equipments are involved. My message must reach the receiver in intact form so that there is no alteration made to the message. That is, integrity of the message must be taken care of, right? My message must be readable to the receiver. These are the very basic things that should be taken care of when we communicate, right? I'm a communication engineer, so I can just go on this topic, like what are the communication equipments that we use? What is the need of communication to long distance and how do we enable this? What are the procedures involved, right? So one of the essential aspects of secure communication is cryptography. And now, when I say the word secure, what do we mean by secure? When I say secure, that means my communication must be in a form that would be trustworthy. What does trustworthy says here? I am talking to person B and I want no other party, no other person to listen to my message. So I will transmit my message in such a way that if the third person reads it, he'll not be able to interpret it. So if I protect the content of the message, that procedure, that science comes under cryptography, right? If a third party gets access on the message also, he or she will not be able to read it, right? That is a field of cryptography. And what's steganography? I am transmitting something, but that is in the hidden form that even the third party doesn't know that something is getting communicated, right? So when I am concealing even the existence of message, right? What it could be, maybe a background noise. Everyone will think like it is a background noise which is going on, but actually we are transmitting some message. That could be simply transmission of pictures. That could be for normal work sake, but that could contain a hidden message within that picture. So if we conceal the message within some audio, within some picture in such a way that existence of message is not known, then that field of science which deals with this is called as steganography. So I hope I have made the difference clear that cryptography is changing the form of message so that it becomes unreadable, and steganography is hiding it in a way that nobody gets to know that there exists something, right? So this is the basic difference between cryptography and steganography, right? What is watermarking? I'm a person, I am selling my products. I sell my products in such a way that whosoever receives it, they get a mark on it in such a way that unauthorized copy of it will be stopped, hindered, right? If somebody is using this and naming that this is my product, they won't be able to do this because there is some picture, some mark, some signature lies on it, which is visible, which will stop the other person to make it look like it's their own product, right? So watermarking is establishing the identity of the person who makes that product in order to prevent the unauthorized use. So they are imperceptible, they are inseparable from the work. You might have downloaded when you do study something or download some document, you might observe the name of that company or the researcher or maybe the publisher in the backend, and you're unable to copy that text, right? So that is watermarking. So that is preventing you to name it as your own product, right? So all these things are working towards what? All these things are working towards this triad, which is called as CIA triad. So how many of you have heard of this triad? Can I have some responses in the chat, please? Have you heard of this triad, CIA triad, that if we are communicating, we must follow the CIA triad? I have some responses here. Yes, many of us have heard. Great. Wonderful. Yes. So this is a benchmark kind of triangle that should be followed when we are communicating for the purpose of secure communication. When we are doing secure communication, my CIA triad must be followed. What does CIA say? CIA says when we are transferring data, that transmissions should be done in confidential manner. C stands for confidentiality, right? That is, it is between two intended people only, the transmitter and the intended receiver. No third party should get to know or be able to read it, right? That is confidential, some secret. I stands for integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is a normal English word, you understand, right? So integrity of the message must be intact. That is, message must be untouched, unaltered, right? So if message is unaltered, untouched, then it remains with its integrity. That must be followed while communicating. Availability. Availability tells the availability of data at the transmitter as well as at the receiver side. So this CIA triad is a universal triad that we follow for every kind of communication. Now, when we specifically talk about cryptography, that security part, then we can include these things along with the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We need to take care of authentication as well as non-repudiation. What are these two terms? So confidentiality is clear, secrecy, integrity, untouched, unaltered message. Authentication, that an intended person has sent it. Only the authenticated person has sent it and it has reached the authenticated receiver. What does non-repudiation says? Non-repudiation means the third part, the transmitter after transmitting the message should not be in a position to deny it. Let's see all this. Confidentiality means that only authorized parties are able to understand the data, right? That is, it should appear as unreadable. I can call it as unreadable to rest of the world, apart from A and B, which are intended transmitter and receiver, right? It is okay if unauthorized parties know that there is data. It is even okay if they copy the data, so long they cannot understand it. So if even the third party gets to know that there is a data, the data is an unreadable form that appears as useless to the third party, right? If I talk about integrity, involves ensuring that a message is sent over a network, that the data arrives in same intact form that it was originally sent. It is important that the data has not been tampered, right? So to maintain the integrity, we must include some solutions. Those are called encryption. There could be hashing algorithm. Encryption prevents the tampering. Hashing will help us know if some tampering has occurred, then we get to know, right? These we can study in detail if you want to connect with me later on as well after this session, because I cannot go on with the depth of encryption and hashing here on this platform. But yes, I am open for further discussion and any research help or any queries if you have later on. So encryption is hiding the data, like hiding or changing the form of data using some algorithms. Hashing will make sure that if some alteration has occurred, the receiver will get to know and that data could be discarded, right? So these two helps in integrity. Authentication, ensuring that whoever supplies or accesses sensitive data is an authorized party. We're talking about the transmitter. How do we get to know that the sensitive data is sent from an authorized party? Right. So there are certain solutions for it, which are passwords and digital signatures, right? If you are the authorized person, you'll only be able to open your Gmail email ID, right? What is non-repudiation? Non-repudiation is ensuring that the intended receiver actually got the message and ensuring that the elite sender actually sent the message. What is it? Once I have sent the message, later on, I cannot deny that, yes, I haven't sent the data. So this is also one of the important characteristic or property of a cryptographic system. As these three are related, cryptography, steganography, watermarking, image forensics. So these are the properties that must be taken care of whenever we talk about the security and communication, security in our communication system. Why cryptography? If we don't encrypt our data, hackers will view or steal our data. And we have to compromise with the security of our data, and that could, harm our country as well at bigger levels, right? If we read this word cryptography, what does it mean? Cryptos means hidden and grapho means to write. So hidden kind of writing. Keeping messages secret, usually by making messages unintelligible to anyone that intercepts it. Right, I have used a blank slide. I'll be using this. So what do we do in cryptography? The normal readable message is called as plain text. This is my message. This could be anything, this could be audio, video, text, or any kind of picture, right? My message is called as the plain text in its original form. When I apply encryption technique, then it is converted into some non-readable form. This is readable form, original message. In non-readable form, it is called as ciphertext. These are certain terms that we must be aware of. And when encryption occurs at the transmitter, right? We generate ciphertext that passes through the channel. Decryption takes place at the receiver. Decryption is a process which is reverse of encryption. Encryption, decryption, these are reverse process. So decryption will make the data again in the readable format. Cryptology is the art and science of making secret codes. Cryptography is making secret codes, and cryptanalysis is breaking codes, right? So these are the terms we must know. You can see when plain text denoted by PI, how is it converted into ciphertext? A simple example. If you are aware of how many of you are aware of Boolean algebra and Zoring? So let me take an example. Just a minute. Yeah. So if whatsoever my message was, be it audio, be it video, be it text, usually when we apply digital mode of communication, which we do always, right? Like I am communicating with you using internet, or if I communicate with you using my mobile phone, then usually the communication is always in digital format. That is, any form of message is converted into binary bits. If suppose my message is converted into 4 bits. How do I convert it into unreadable form? This is my original message. So let's take a secret key, which is all 0. Do XORing. After XORing, what do I get? For similar, 0, non-similar, 1. Similar, 0, non-similar, 1. So it makes the same. Now let's suppose for the similar data, I take this as key and I do XORing. Dissimilar 1, dissimilar 1, similar 0, 0. So if this is my plain text, this would be my ciphertext. And here the key is secret, which is known to the transmitter, and this key is present with the receiver. And if we decrypt it, let's do the XORing again between the key and the received message. Similar 0, dissimilar 1, similar 0, dissimilar 1. Isn't it the same as the plain text? So if this is plain text, this is my key, this is my ciphertext, and this is again after decrypting, I get my plain text. Isn't it same? So what is the secret thing here? Key is the secret thing here, which is present at the transmitter and at the receiver. So this is a simple example of how we can encrypt our data. Although this isn't as simple as it appears here, we do follow complete algorithm that has steps. Apart from XORing, maybe left shifting, right shifting, passing it through some S box, substitution box, then permutation box. So there are a lot of steps that cryptographic algorithms, they do follow. Right? These are the basic terms. You can give it a read. Crypto system is the complete system. Encryption is scrambling the message. Plain text is the original data. Ciphertext is the encrypted data. And cipher is called the algorithm. Decryption is reversifying the process. Cryptanalysis is breaking it. Cryptanalyst is a person who breaks the data. Right? Now, let's go back to the content. We have been studying about cryptography. Okay. I hope the basics are clear for cryptography. Do we have some responses about cryptography? If you can please unmute, and if you can ask if I should be elaborating cryptography anymore. Now let me check. Okay, very clear. Thank you so much for your response, Amirul. Okay, thanks. So, cryptography is about changing the form of data, right? So that it becomes unreadable. Now let's come to steganography. Do we have more responses? Okay, sure. Let's start with steganography. So the word steganography, it's again a Greek term, right? Meaning covered or secret, and graphy means writing or drawing, right? So here the word stegano means covered. And graphy means writing or drawing. Therefore, steganography literally means covered writing. If there exists some message, it will be not known to the third party. They'll be unaware that there exists a message. It simply takes one piece of information and hides within another. Let me take an example. You might share picture of the room with your friend, and if you want to share something secret message in that, some message must be in that picture. But if some third party sees that picture, he or she will interpret it like it's a simple picture of the room. But maybe there is some wall hanging that will say something about what your friend wants you to know, right? So this could be computer files, that is images, sounds, recordings, even disks that contain unused or insignificant areas of data. Steganography takes advantages of these areas, like replacing them with information. If there are some spaces that can be used to transmit information, take like I'm sending you some information, and in between the lines, in between the gap, if I fill some another information, that could be, that processes steganography again. It takes advantages of these areas, replacing this with some information like encrypted email. These files, the files can then be exchanged without anyone knowing what really lies inside of them. An image of the space shuttle landing might contain a private letter to a friend. Yes, this could possibly be the case. Rumor has it that terrorists used steganography to transmit messages to one another. Right? There are various sources for such kind of information. So let's start with the history of steganography. In the history of Persian wars, Herodotus tells of a messenger who shaved his head. You know how it started. In early days when there was no technology, how it started. What the king did? He shaved the head of the messenger and wrote the message on it, and he was allowed to wait for a while his hair grows, right? Then he was sent to the receiver. In the journey, if anyone catches him, he has no message with him, carrying with him. Although when he reaches the receiver, his head was again shaved to read that message. So this was the first instance of steganography in history. Ancient Romans, they were very famous to write between lines using invisible ink. There's a simple letter that contains scripts line to line, but that letter is not the actual message they wanted to send. In between the lines, they used to write something with invisible ink, right? In our childhood also, we might have played with some ink that is visible only when we heat it up, when we heat that paper, right? Heating will make it readable, or applying some other chemical on the paper will make it in the readable form. Or if we are using invisible ink and writing in between the lines, and maybe with the help of LED lights or something, that written thing becomes visible. This is also steganography. See, with the help of this light only, we are able to read what lies inside. Now, example of invisible ink. During the World War II, the Germans developed the microdot. A secret message was photographically reduced to the size of a period and affixed as the dot for the letter I. See this dot, or other punctuation on a paper containing a written message. That could be a comma as well, semicolon, full stop, right? At the top of this I. So this, maybe this had the message when they are read in sequence. When they are elaborated, read under lens. Microdots permitted the transmission of large amounts of printed data, including technical drawings, and the fact of the transmission was effectively hidden. See, these are the dots. And when they are zoomed or they are checked under the lens, we have plenty of data hidden in it. That could be a drawing, a map, a secret message. See, if we elaborate this, we'll get to see some messages inside. See, a small portion, when elaborated, enlarged under the lens, it has some message. These are binary form of data, and they can again be converted back into audio, video, text, whichever form it is intended to be. Right? We may provide even our products with such dots, and this dot would be of millimeter size, and they contain some information about the authenticity of this product, right, which other person cannot copy. Computer steganography, it is based on two principles. The first one is that the files containing digitized images or sound can be altered to a certain extent without losing give me a moment. The files, sorry for the interruption. The files containing digitized images or sound can be altered to a certain extent without losing their functionality. The other principle deals with the human inability to distinguish minor changes in image color or sound quality. Right? So what the basic idea is, we are already sending some pictures and put more of the information within that picture. Or we are sharing some audio, then let's just hide information within that audio. Which is especially easy to make use of the object that contains redundant information. So using this redundant information, be it 16-bit sound, 8-bit, or even better 24-bit image, right? These are the possibilities that we can use. The value of the least significant bit of the pixel color won't result in any perceivable change of that color. So when we expand that picture and we provide it like the least significant bit is altered, it is added, then the actual picture that comes out, that won't be much different from the original message. But if we read every least significant bit of every pixel and join it, we get our message back, right? So this is what the receiver will do. But when it is hidden in that picture, that will appear as a normal picture to any third party, right? So this way, messages are mostly hidden in the audio or in the pictures. So the stenographers, they need to understand how picture is made, what is JPG, how pixels are collected to form a complete picture. And when they do understand all this, then they can add some redundant data in it. And that redundant data is the actual message. Steganography is the art and science of writing hidden messages in such a way that no one apart from the sender and intended receiver suspects the existence. Now, how it works? By replacing bits of useless or unused data. Here, the example we have taken, what we're doing, we're changing every least significant bit of every pixel, right? In regular computer files with bits of different invisible information. This is one of the way. The hidden information could be plain text, ciphertext, or even images. In modern steganography, data is first encrypted by the usual means and then inserted. What is this? This is something new that we are yet to talk about. So far, we have spoken that cryptography is changing the form of data so that it becomes unreadable. Then steganography is hiding the data. So in modern system, if we do cryptography, if we take help of a hybrid system that has cryptography plus steganography, that is, first we encrypt, then we hide, then we transmit, it becomes a better system. First of all, when my data is on air, nobody will understand that it's a data or it's a message. Nobody gets to know that, right? Secondly, if they get to know that there is data, they need to decrypt it in order to make it readable. Hence, using combiningly cryptography and steganography is an advanced kind of technique that we use these days. Using special holograms into redundant data that is a part of the particular file format, such as JPEG image or bitmap image. Steganography process includes cover media plus hidden data plus stegano key. Like key, I have discussed in case of cryptography, what is key? That will help you encrypt the data as well as decrypt the data. So it has the cover media. That cover media could be any picture, or this could be any picture, any audio. These are mostly used, picture and audio. Hidden data, the actual message. Hidden data means the actual message. Stegano key is my secret key. These three when transmitted in medium. Cover media is the file which will hide the hidden data, image or audio. See, it's mentioned here. Stegano key is the secret key. Like in case of Boolean algebra, I've shown you, initially I've taken example of all 4 zeros. Stegano medium, the resultant file is of above process called stego medium. Now, let's talk about what is text steganography, what is image steganography, what is audio steganography. I'll take an example. Let's start with text steganography. So, let's simply encrypt. I give you a sentence. Simply encrypt correct reading exactly twice. I'll write it here. So read it again. Read the sentence again. And can you see something here? Some message I am trying to send. Responses, please. Is there something hidden here? It's a kind of text steganography. Correct. Secret. Yes. So, how? Just read the first letter of every word. S, E, C, R, E, T. So I'm trying to send the message, which is word secret. For that, I am sending a complete sentence, isn't it? Since everyone can read, encoding text in neutral sentence is doubtfully effective, since everyone can read. What is the hidden message here? If we read the first letter of every word, S-E-C-R-E-T, secret, I in neutral sentences is doubtfully effective. Insight. So what I intend to send is this sentence, secret insight, this phrase, this word, these two words. But for that, what I'm sending is an entire sentence. So yes, text steganography is a good technique, but isn't it adding too much of redundancy? Yes. Just to send these two words, I have to send the complete sentence. Right? So text steganography is one of the oldest, we can say. But it has too much of added redundancy. And believe me, redundancy is not just an issue with text. It is issue with the picture as well. It is issue with the audio as well. So steganography, if we use steganography, there is a lot of redundancy that we have to compromise on. In image steganography, every pixel is taken and least significant bit is altered with the message that we intend to send. So that won't affect the picture quality to a visible manner. It will be somehow, if you watch closely, carefully, you'll get to see that the image quality is not that good as previous. But changing the least significant bit will not change the image quality to that extent. And if we talk about audio steganography, it is a technique used to transmit hidden information by modifying an audio signal in an imperceptible manner. It is like the noise behind the audio that could actually contain a message. It is the science of hiding some secret text or audio information in a host message. The host message before steganography and stego message after steganography have the same characteristics, right? So that could be a background noise that we transmit. If we talk about what are the various advantages and disadvantages of steganography. Advantages: no one suspects the existence of message. It is highly secure, isn't it? If we talk about how secure it is, when nobody knows that there lies something, then it is totally secure, right? If I talk about disadvantages, I've already discussed that it requires a lot of overhead to hide a relatively few bits of information, right? If I want to compare how steganography and cryptography are related or not related, then this is for unknown message passing. In cryptography, we know that some messages, Alice and Bob, these are two famous transmitter and receiver example we take everywhere. If you have read some cryptography books like from the author Bruce Schneier, there are more authors. So they take example of the transmitter, which is named as Alice, and Bob is the receiver, right? So when Alice and Bob communicate, it is known to the third party that they are communicating. So the message is passing, this is known. But unknown message passing is steganography, because we never get to know. Okay, there is some exchange of information, but that has some secret data. No, we don't know. Steganography prevents discovery of the very existence of communication. Encryption, cryptography prevents an unauthorized party from discovering the contents of the communication. Your existence is not known. This is a little known technology. Cryptography we use almost everywhere. Even most of you are watching this video over your laptop, and your laptops, you have a hard disk. Most of the hard drives are AES encrypted. AES, Advanced Encryption System. This is a very famous block cipher. This is an algorithm which is one of the benchmark block cipher, one of the benchmark algorithm of cryptography. So the hard disks in your laptops are AES encrypted. So if you have ever uninstalled or installed some external a drive and hard disk that asks for a encryption key, and that is usually 64-bit, or usually in case of your laptops it is usually 128-bit key. And when I talk about 128-bit key, then if a third party knows that it is encrypted using a key of 128 bits, and if he or she tries hit and trial, I mean all possible combinations, then how many combinations the attacker has to make? Can anyone just try responding here? If I am an attacker, I know that it has been encrypted using a 128-bit keys, and I want to try all possible combinations made up of 128 bits. How many possible combinations do I have to try? So let me tell you, in digital mode of communication, we do have I'll go back to the plain slide so that I can. Yeah. So in digital communication, I have these 2 bits only, 1 and 0. And if I'm using 1 bit at a time, how many representation levels I can make? 2. So the number of levels is decided by number of bits chosen at a time, where small n is the number of bits and m is possible combination of number of levels. If I'm using 2 bit at a time, how many combinations can I make? What are those combinations? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. So if I'm using number 3 bits at a time, then m becomes 2 to the power 3, that becomes 8. That means with 3 bits, I can make likewise 8 combination. So with 128-bit keys, I'll have to try 2 to the power 128, which would be huge, gross, enormous, isn't it? So that's why we keep the number of bits in the keys high, so that if an attacker tries hit and trial as well, then also he or she has to try enormous number of combinations, although we do have supercomputers for the same. So supercomputers does our task in a smaller bit of time, but still we need some time to do that. So there are different techniques to break the code. This hit and trial is the conventional thing, which is usually for your knowledge, for your information, I'll name it. It is called as brute force attack. I believe spelling I have to check. Brute force attack. When I check all the possible combinations, right? So we keep the number of keys, number of bits in a key high. So the minimum number of bits that should be considered okay for a cryptographic algorithm to be safe is 64 minimum. This is as per the guidelines of NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, US. You can take reference of this. If anyone is interested in studying about cryptography, then they should read articles by NIST. You may note it down, National Institute of Standards and Technology, US. So let's get back where we left. Right. So this is a little known technology. This is a common technology. Technology is still being developed for certain formats. No, we are still working on this. This is most of the algorithm are known by all. Most famous earlier DES was very famous from, I mean, it worked for 20 years. Now this is discarded and nowadays we are using AES. Once detected, message is known. Even the complete system become worthless once your system is exposed, right? If you get to know that we have to read between the dots, we have to elaborate the dots, the complete system fails, becomes worthless. Strong current algorithms are resistant to attacks. Large expensive computing power is required for cracking. Here, once it is exposed, becomes worthless. Steganography does not alter the structure of the secret message. Cryptography alters, it hides, it alters. So nowadays, what we use, it's better not just to encrypt, because if you are encrypting and transmitting message, the third party will always keep on trying to read that message to break that code. And if you're using steganography, then once the system is exposed, the complete system becomes worthless. So why not first encrypt the data, then hide the data, then send it, and that kind of system is combined crypto plus steganography. Your plain text is first encrypted. After encryption, it is converted into ciphertext, right? Encrypted form, right? Then using steganography, using a cover image, here we are taking example of image, that could be a cover audio, that could be cover text, right? Using a cover image, you are converting it into stego image. That is after encryption of the plain text, it is called ciphertext. After steganography, after cryptography, it is called ciphertext. After steganography, it is called stego image, right? It goes, and at the receiver, it is decrypted, right? So this is combined crypto steganography. Now, if you talk about digital image forensics, the power of image. This image, this image made the whole world think about it, right? Like this image here you can see it's a lot of smoke coming around. When a lot of smoke coming around, this could be forged. Like I'll show you two pictures, this and this. Here, Reuters on Sunday withdrew an image of smoke rising from burning buildings after an Israeli airstrike on the suburbs of Beirut on August 5, 2006, after evidence emerged that it had been manipulated to show more smoke. The manipulated image is shown on the left. Can you see here the smoke is more? And the unaltered image shown on the right has since run. Reuters had told the photographers freelance Adnan Hajj that the agency will not use any more of this pictures. Can you see? So this kind of image can give rise to more rage, more outburst of emotions in people, and which is dangerous, right? So that's why image forensics is required. We want to check the authenticity, that whether the image is right or not, whether it has been forged or not. There comes digital image forensics, and it deals with a lot of technologies. Here, you might come across many pictures on internet that whether it is real or fake, that always a question. So there is a complete agency working behind that can actually check whether image is real or fake. Here you can see it looks like the person will die if this shark comes, but maybe it was, collaborating two pictures. Right? You can see the actual picture here, but here you can see this. The second image is a forged one. Right? So such kind of thing is dangerous. This is a very famous example, brown lady ghost in 1936. This image was a news everywhere. These days also we get to see this picture. What was this? This was nothing. This was superimposing two pictures. It involved time-consuming darkroom tricks. Like you might have observed when you are walking and you take picture, even your normal pictures appears like some shadow is following you. Right? So these can intelligently be done. We talk about history. There are so many photo manipulators. These are some famous names. Why all this? To make one look more heroic, to erase enemies, for propaganda, for media stunts, greed. Why I'm discussing all this? These all leads to motivate us to study cryptography and if we talk about image, yes, steganography. When we study steganography, we study steganoanalysis, read the image, break it as well. And when we read it, properly break it, we are able to retrieve the message. We actually can make things clear that whether it is a forged image or real image. Clues of fakes, lighting, eye positions. These are, if you're interested in actually, if you're interested in image forensics, these are certain clues. You see the lighting, difference in lighting direction, look for shadows, discrepancies. When it is forged, there occur some manual errors as well, right? Eye positions, twinkling in eyes. These are certain clues that can help you detect whether the image is real or fake. There are certain copy paste things, right? You can see if you watch closely, the group of soldiers, they're again copy and pasted like to show more to show them in huge in numbers. Retouching, modification of image. You just retouch this image from a meeting of United Nations Security Council in 2005. The contrast of the notepad was adjusted to improve its readability. Gross logic errors. Logic errors like here you can see smoke blowing in two different directions from side-by-side smoke stacks, which is impossible. When the jet is going upwards, it is impossible that smokes are going in two opposite directions. Army soldiers wear I have not used this image. Army soldiers wearing navy glasses and all. So here are some certain clues for identifying whether image is fake or real. So we have to look for logic errors, right? These are certain references which I've used. I want to show you a video. If time allows, sir.
Add some more, no problem.
Okay. I want to show them. What is cryptography like?
Imagine two people who share an important important secret have to split up.
The audio.
Yes, ma'am, audible. Again, repeat, please.
Imagine two people who share an important secret have to split up. This requires them to communicate private information from a distance. However, an eavesdropper named Eve also wants this information and has the ability to intercept their messages. So Alice decides to communicate using letters written in some kind of secret code. The following analogy is helpful. First, Alice locks her message in a box using a lock that only her and Bob know the combination to. This is known as encryption. Then the locked message is sent to Bob. When Bob receives the box, he opens it using the code they shared in advance. This is called decryption. Cryptography begins when we abandon physical locks and use ciphers instead. Think of them as virtual locks. Ciphers allow Alice and Bob to scramble and descramble their messages so that they would appear meaningless if Eve intercepted them. Cryptography has been around for thousands of years. It has decided wars and is at the heart of the worldwide communication network today. The fascinating story of cryptography requires us to understand two very old ideas related to number theory and probability theory.
Right, so this was showing the basics of cryptography. Another video, if you really want to try steganography at your end, like most of us are using Windows, right? So you can actually try steganography with the help of a free software. And how to do that? Let me show you.
For example, required. So in other words, phrase menu option. So in other words, files might be my steganography in Windows. Steganography program in Windows. In my steganography program, I'll begin by opening a JPEG file. After I've opened the JPEG file, the next thing I would do is set a passphrase on the file. So I'll click the passphrase menu option. I will enter a passphrase, and then I'll enter it a second time to confirm it. Then I'll click OK. Now what I need to do is embed a secret message or document within my JPEG image. To do that, I'll go to the Hide menu, where I'll select a text document that I've created called secretmessage.txt. I want to embed that within the JPEG image. Then what I'll do is I'll save the JPEG. Now a message pops up that says that it made a big change to the file and it might be detected, but nonetheless, I'll click OK. It's been done. Now, to the casual user, if they were to open up that JPEG image, it would look just like a picture, when in fact, it contains an embedded file. On the other end of our connection, the other party would have.
So here we are talking about a JPHS for Windows. You can actually look for it, and it is a free software. Like you can download the freeware version, although there are advanced version of it as well. And if you download this JPHS for Windows, and you can actually try out how we can perform steganography at our end.
Have the same software, and they would choose to open the JPEG, then they would enter the passphrase, and then what they would do is seek the data within the picture. For example, I'll choose Open JPEG, and I'll choose Seek. At this point, it asks for the passphrase. So this would happen on the other end of the communication. So I'll enter the correct passphrase and click OK, at which point it says save the hidden file as, and then I could extract the file and read the contents of the message. In this video, we learned about steganography.
So should I repeat the steps or? So that's it from my side. If we have questions and queries.
If any question, please ask. Lavanya ma'am, have you any question, any doubt, and what regarding this session? Please comment.
Yes, I have received a question.
I have a question. If we combine steganography and cryptography, how can one detect the hidden message itself, as we have not know if the pictures or file has the secret message embedded in the first place, and thus is there any tool that can be detected the hidden message if it has also been encrypted?
Great. So thank you, Krishna sir, for reading me the question. Thank you, Amirul, for this wonderful question. So here, you're curious about like how we actually get to know when something is hidden. When something is hidden, how do we know that there exists some message, right? That is your question. So for that, when I am a transmitter, you are a receiver, and I want to share some confidential information with you, you and I have already decided in advance that I am going to use this technique for encrypting my message. Then I'll be hiding this message using this steganographic process, and then I'm transmitting that message. So there is no question that you don't know that this picture has a message, because transmitter and receiver, this is a protocol. The transmitter and receiver, they agree on something, then they start with the transmission. So third party doesn't know that there is some secret message hidden in the message, and if they get to know, they have to decrypt it. So this answers your first question. And the second question, are there any tools to detect if the data is encrypted? By, there are tools to decrypt it, but to know, there are no such tools, but yes, you may use machine learning and AI for that. And we are developing with such things. I hope I answered your questions. Amirul, if you, okay. Thank you. Any more questions we have?
Hello, any participant have a question regarding steganography or cryptography?
We
Any
have
doubt?
our expert team with us to answer your queries. Nitin sir, Krishna sir joined us to answer your queries. Please ask.
Okay, no doubts, no question.
One question.
Okay. Yeah, this one I have a query combined.
ये
No. Okay.
ये तो हो गया. Last में जाना.
No.
Okay.
Okay, no question. So thanks, Nilufar madam, for your such a wonderful delivery on steganography and image file. And I thanks on behalf of all participants and ALTTC. Yeah, Nilufar madam already connected in past also with us and delivered lecture on cryptography. So once again, thanks, Nilufar madam. Now, I have a 10 minutes break for participants. So right now the timing is, what's the time? The timing is 12:13 p.m. in my clock. So we will start next topic, network forensic, at 12:23. So all participants are comfortable? 10 minutes break. Yeah, please confirm on chat. Okay, now break has started. So you may relax
Thank you.
So we will join and resume the session after 10 minutes. Thank you, Nilüfer Madam, for such a wonderful session on steganography. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
hope I
Thank
have
you.
made the basics clear, and we can you can all of you can connect with me. I have shared my email ID with Krishna, sir. So in future, maybe if you are interested in any kind of research or projects, I am open for it and for your queries as well. Krishna, sir, please to share my email ID with them.
Yes. Thank you. I will share, and it is also in online portal is available. There is no issue, ma'am. Okay, but
Great.
here also I can share, no issue. I share in the chat box.
Right,
I
great.
request all participants, you may log in on the online alttc.bsnl.co.in because a lot of activities are there. So you may complete all the activities well in time to avoid any deduction in your marks. So maybe you're not able to get the certification for such course. Thank you.